All right, so let's redo this. Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the Grey Exchange. I appreciate all you guys being here. And I got to stop muting my mic. That's one thing I need to stop doing. All right, so let's get things rolling. Let me move chat over here. And we are good. There's a 5x5. Yeah, right on, Harvey. I saw that mic sound. Excuse me. All right, so let's jump into chat real quick and say hello to some of you folks. I've been a busy little bee, I'll tell you that. All right, so we got Ostlander in the house, Yarn Prepper, Ark Wildman Survival, Brian Brinkman. Let me see, what do we got going on here? Let me see. Primo, good to see you. I'm just trying to skip past a few things here. JT. Let me see here. Who else do we got in here? Poppy Prepper, good to see you. Ostlander, another one in the works. I'm all. Let me see. Colleen Rich, Ark Wildman Survival. Hello, brother. You guys have been chatting up a bit, huh? I'm trying to scroll down so I don't keep on repeating myself. But if I do, you know how that goes. No whining. Jan. I see Creative Redundancy. Stewart's. PLL. I would say Polar Bear, right? 98. How you doing? Who else do we got in here tonight? Steve, 7 Tivit, if I got that right. Arlith, how you doing? All right. Bluegrass Sweetheart. I like that name. Jeff Sams, Empress Kimberly, Lori D. You see Kelly DeBro, Prepper Book Club. Jenny, I always mess this up. Jenny Nunya. I'm assuming Nunya means Nunya business. All right. Caribbean Alice, I think I got you, didn't I? Creative, got you there. Dale Cobb. Jeremiah Mathis, Bonnie Bethel. Dr. Eric Kessel. Jeff. Zombie Prepper, Wesley Thomas, S. Moore, Terry, you see it, Minton Man, Voodoo Queen, Don't You Know, Angels Arrived, Barbara. You see, who else do we got in here? Did I say? I think I said what's up to Terry, didn't I? Let me see, Big Bear Prepper in the house, Allison Sherman. You guys are moving fast. I thought I put a slow mode on here, but we're going to run with it. Lori S. Red Road. And I think I caught up to everybody. Hopefully I did. And truly appreciate you guys being here tonight. So tonight we're going to talk about family preparedness. And I'm kind of dive into that. But before we get into that, I got some stuff in the mail that I wanted to share with you guys. Of course, you know how it goes. Anytime I get something in the mail, I want to share with you folks. Plus, I wanted to let you guys know who I partnered up for the Toys for Tots. And I put there, we sat and talked for a couple hours today. It's a weapon supply, or it's kind of a gun shop or whatnot. And but I'll explain that here in a second, because that's where we're going to be doing the toy drop off. And I think when we're going to, me and Lady Gray and Little Miss Gray, I think we're going to do the shopping spree this Sunday. Because that's when we're all able to do so. I might have to do the Sunday shift report on Saturday and let it play out and not be there. But, you know, those are the way things work out. And I've been, like I said, I'll tell you one thing, folks, doing the Christmas cards is a lot more busier than I expected it to be. I had to, you know, take everybody's emails and put an address list together. And I got so lazy that I went out and printed, you know, these labels because I got tired of writing my name on stuff. So I'm gonna use these mailing labels instead of writing it every single time. I was like, well, that just makes more sense. Anyways, let me put this back over here. And let me kind of show you guys what I got in the mail. Let me see here. What do we got? I got a Christmas card. Let me see. Who do I got this? This is from Beth and Mary Highfill. And I want to thank you guys, Beth and Mary. This is a Christmas card they had sent me in the mail here. And you guys know I just like to show when folks send me things because I just have a big heart and these things mean a lot to me. It says, Happy Christmas to you and yours, Gray Man. May your home be filled with laughter and joy as we celebrate the anniversary of our Lord's first coming. Merry Christmas and best wishes for a happy new year. My mom and I have enjoyed and been blessed by your channel. Thank you for all you do. God bless. Prayers from Beth and Mary. So thank you, Beth and Mary, for that. I'm going to try to move these things around a little bit. This one is from Bonnie Bethel. Cattle Drive, Johnny Day, Oregon. There's that there. And this says, GreyMan, this is our small town. They do a big cattle drive through downtown John Day every spring and fall. Take care, Bonnie. So thank you so much, Bonnie, for that. What else do we got here? We got another Christmas card. This is from One Girl's Trek. This is cool. I like this. A little snowman there. And she writes, Merry Christmas. Hoping the holidays bring you joys to a warm heart all year. Truly appreciate that, one girl. Maybe I'll set them over there, make it easier for me instead of moving around. This one, my Little Miss Grey. Okay, so Little Miss Grey is a bit of a cat lady, per se, which is kind of funny because she loves cats. She's like a huge cat enthusiast. One of these days, she's probably going to have a house with like 35 cats. But anyways, this one says, Happy Holidays. This is Little Miss Grey's favorite card, the little sparkly stuff on there with the kitty. And this is from Life with Bobby. It says, to the Grey family, thinking of you and wishing you a warm and wonderful holiday season. I hope your Christmas is amazing and that you all have an awesome new year. Thank you so much, Life with Bobby. And what else? Oh, and then I got a gift from Duke. So Duke, I don't know if Duke wants me to show this magazine. He sent me inside the magazine was a stockpile of seeds, but inside this magazine was a stockpile of seeds. I don't know if the magazine was part of it or not. But he gave me a whole bunch of seeds, or sent me a whole bunch of seeds, which is very awesome. Some of them are quite intriguing. I don't want to go over every single one of them, but we got some we got some broccoli castle dome. Let me see what else we got. Some kale, some cauliflower, some Tokyo McKenna mustard, single stem uptill, tomatoes, parsley, tree lettuce, some basil. Now, here's what this is kind of cool. This is Moringa. If you guys are familiar with that, these are Moringa seeds. I don't know if that'll focus on that or not. So he sent me a couple of those and a bunch of other little odds and ends and seeds and some really cool stuff in these bags. You guys know this is my first year. Well, actually, it's almost the end of my first year gardening. But so I'm going to try to plant some of these. I'm going to look and dig into some of the instructions he gave me with this. But anyways, Duke, I truly appreciate that. Very kind of you to do so and sharing your seeds with me. And let me see here. I think it was Donna. Let me see who's in chat. What's up? Don't you know, Miss Taz? How you doing? Thank you, Life with Bobby. I truly appreciate that. What's up, Kim's Real Life? I'm looking in here. There's Barbara. How you doing tonight? And let me see here. But also I got, I wanted to read this real quick. And I wish I don't have the book with me to show it to you guys. What's up, Raptor Ranch? Joint or pain? Yes, Raptor Ranch. Agreed. Good stuff, right? And I'm going to have to, I'm going to save this for Thursday night. I'm going to share this so I can actually show you guys the book that she had sent me with the deer on it. She's extremely creative and it's very awesome of her to do so. All right. So back real quick to the Toys for Tots. I put their Instagram link down below. Matter of fact, I'll share my screen and show you them real quick. But this is the company I'm working with. It's called JCS. And it's probably not going to focus on that. JCS. Now, this is his business card. His name is Dwayne Smith, veteran owned and operated. So it's another great thing. He gave me a little koozie right there. JCS Weapons Design. That is in Palm Bay, Florida, a city a little bit not too far from myself. Let me see, move this over. And let me share the screen real quick before we get into our topic tonight. I always appreciate you guys and your patience for me going through all the stuff that I usually do in the beginning. But let me show you his thing because you guys will probably get a kick out of this. I think at least most of you will, I think. So this is his Instagram, which his Instagram is linked down below, or the company's Instagram is linked down below. And of course, this here, I can't put this on my on the description, but that's his website. We're teaming up for the Toys for Tots, and that's where we're going to do the toy drop off. And you're probably going to see me and him do a lot more stuff down the road. He's been in business for a year as well. They do a lot of laser engraving stuff. But let me see if I can get this going here. Whoops, there we go. So he does a lot of stuff with weaponry, custom engravings. They sell a lot of stuff in their store, powder coating. I thought you guys would get a kick. They sell these shirts in the shop. I don't know if you guys understand what Foxtrot Juliet Bravo stands for, but if you just put it together, you'll understand. So I think that was pretty cool. But they do a lot of stuff. He is an expert shooter. He is a professional at it. He's, I think, was in the Marines, also in law enforcement, but great company. Looking forward to working with these folks. They got some pretty cool stuff in there. And this is Dwayne right over here. His beard has gotten a lot longer, but this is some of the stuff they do in their business. I kind of like some of the stuff they got going on here, all this custom work. So yeah, I'm looking forward to working with those folks and building a relationship with them. You know, anybody who's local, American owned, vet owned, that kind of stuff like that. I like working with those folks. Thanks, Prepper Book Club. I figured you guys would get it eventually, right? Oh boy. But I didn't want to say it because you know how YouTube is and stuff like that. All right, so we're going to jump into this topic, all right? Right, Brad? I thought it was great. The shirts are awesome. Trust me, you will see me wearing one. I'm just waiting for the color that I want and my size to come in. I was looking for my size there, but I couldn't find it. I'm like a earth tone kind of guy. I like olive drab, desert tan, that kind of stuff like that. I don't like too much bright clothing. As you guys know, I wear a lot of black, dark greens, grays, and stuff like that. So what's up, Jennifer Cruz? Jesus loving homesteader. Good to see you. But anyways, I thought it was great. It's just funny. He has these magazines with some of the criminals, as I like to say, in Congress or previous people that were up in Washington. It looks like they're behind bars and stuff like that. But it's great. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Right on, Brad. What's up, Northern Girl? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. All right, so let's kind of dive into this topic about family preparedness. The reason I'm going into this topic is I'm going to talk about. I don't want to say it's an acronym. I have it here on my notes. Is to four key components to family preparedness, and you can use this for yourself as well if you're a single person and in your own home. But the reason instead of doing live streams about news and politics and stuff like that, because I kind of do that on Sundays. I like to talk about preparedness because I had so much fun on Thursday night when we talked about, water storage and all that stuff. I really had a good time. And I felt we went over some, very important information, and people seem to enjoy this type of content as well outside of the news, like, hey, about Omicron and about this earthquake or this volcano or whatever that happens to be going on in the news. I think this would be more relevant material. And hopefully it'll help some folks out. I want to ask questions while I'm going over this stuff. Sometimes I'll get lost in what I'm going over, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. But I'll try to run some, that's awesome, Northern Girl. I'll try to, field some of those questions as well. So anyways, 4 key components to family preparedness. Identify, plan, prepare, and practice. So let's take some of those things apart, right? And some of you folks are like, well, Grey, I know some of this stuff. Well, sometimes I think I know everything too. And then I realize, no, there's a few things that I'm missing. And there's a lot of new people coming into this community that have been asking a lot of questions in emails and in comments. And luckily I have you folks out there, the Grey family, helping me field some of these questions that these folks run into, be it if it's about gardening or about food preservation, water storage, gear, all those types of things like that. So I think it's very pertinent to kind of focus on preparedness because that's what's most important. Regardless of what's going on in the world, if Russia attacks Ukraine, if this person attacks Taiwan, that's all good to know. And it's all good to stay informed. Like I always say, informed and educated. But preparedness, you need to be prepared. That's where you need to really, hone in on is your preparedness and make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. So when it comes to preparedness, in the first part, identify, there's a couple key components I'd like to go over with this. And what I mean is you need to identify the types of disasters that are in your area. Be it if you're in California, you may want to focus on things like forest fires. Be it if you're in Florida, you want to, kind of prepare for things like hurricanes and floods and certain things like that. Not even, it's more the flooding when it comes with the hurricanes. But so the main issue is the hurricanes. And let's say you're in Kansas, right? Then you want to kind of focus on maybe stuff like tornadoes and stuff. And then if you're way up north or even in like Canada, you have a lot of fellow Canadians that follow the channel as well. You probably focus on things like blizzards and ice storms and that kind of stuff. So you need to first identify what you're preparing for. And what I mean by that is hyper focus on, like, let's say me, I'm going to hyper focus on hurricane preparedness. outside of everything else, because that is the most prominent thing that may happen here in Florida. That's the most common natural disaster to transpire in Florida. Because with her hurricane, then comes the power outages, then comes the water, and so on and so forth. So all that's kind of wrapped up into hurricane preparedness. Just like if you're in Tornado Alley and a tornado rips through your town, you may not have power for quite some time as well, right? So once we identify the disaster that we're preparing for, and this doesn't mean not to prepare for other things, because it's always best to be prepared for the unexpected. But once you identify one thing, it's going to help you build your preparedness kit for you and your family around that. Because let's say, you're preparing for a hurricane here, right? And you stock food and you stock water and you stock, batteries, you stock candles, you stock all these different other things, ways to cook and stuff like that. So if another disaster happens to present itself, you still have a repertoire of preps. So if you see how I'm kind of talking about this, because you're basically building a foundation off this specific disaster that you might be hyper focusing on. And of course that extends to further on. Now, like I can have my garden, but the hurricane might destroy my garden. So I need to make sure that I have canned goods. I need to make sure I have some of the freeze dried stuff, or dehydrated things, or ready to eat kind of foods like MREs and things like that, because all the things in my garden might be tore up. It might be inundated with water. The wind might have broke all the stems. It might have destroyed my garden. So then I have to find a secondary food source, and I want to make sure I have that available to myself and my family. Another key important thing is to learn. Let me see, how do I want to say this? What's a good word for it? If you're in a specific community, in a specific area, learn your community's warning systems. What do you have an app that tells you, hey, this is what's going on? There's a tornado warning. There's a bad storm coming. If you have sirens in your area, a lot of places where the tornadoes are prevalent, you'll hear sirens and things like that. Are you familiar with those sirens? Are your kids familiar with those sirens? If you get text messages, if you use a phone system, and so on and so forth. One thing that I would suggest that everybody should have, and they're relatively cheap. Mine's on the floor because it fell before I could pick it up on the desk before I started this live stream. But it's an Noaa radio, preferably one that's either solar. I would say more multifaceted, be it solar, crank, battery powered. Where it has redundancies in there. Because let's say the solar sucks. But the crank's not too bad, but you wear yourself out doing it and having some batteries to back up. So you have three ways of powering this. And I think I've done that review, and you guys have probably seen that on there. Also, you might want to identify certain organizations like the Red Cross, if they're in your area, nonprofits and things like that, the things that you can use to substantiate yourself if you need help or family members need help, and have a list of emergency contacts with you, things like that. So when you identify this hazard, you kind of go through that whole process, generalized to your area, versus just a broad way of preparedness. You also want to kind of educate yourself on the types of disasters and what is associated with those types of disasters. Most folks who've been living somewhere for 30 or 40 years, they're so accustomed to that. But let's say you're someone who moves around or just moved into a new state, or moved from the East Coast to the West Coast, or west to the east, or north to south, wherever it may be. You might want to educate yourself in the things that might happen in that area. Talk to some of the people that have been living in those areas for quite some time, and kind of get an idea. Hey, is your house in a flood zone? Has your neighbors had issues with flooding in the past? Or, if you're up north, hey, are we prone to, these huge snow drifts? Do they plow the roads on, when their blizzard comes through? You want to ask questions and be aware of what consists in your neighborhood. All right. Let me take a look at chat real quick before I go back into the next one, which will be the planning, which is a huge thing. I'm trying to back up a little bit. The color drop. Hello, Heroic Prepper. Good to see you. I saw that you were live earlier today. I caught a little bit of that real quick. Hig Homestead, how you doing? Kevin Cripp. Vidra. Angels arrived. I mailed you and my brother in Florida. He got his yesterday. You're stuck since the morning in Orlando. Thank you, Angels arrived. I'm waiting on several packages. People have been emailing me, let me know some things are coming this way. I truly appreciate. You guys know you don't have to send me anything, but it's truly appreciated. And Donna Hazlitt, thank you so much, Donna. I'm going to go over that book that you sent me probably on Thursday, because I forgot to bring it in the room with me. All right, what's up? Let me see. Ang All, what's up? A&G all. What is going on? Scarzo, how you doing tonight? Hopefully all you guys are doing well. We got, what, 139? I think YouTube is telling me. I can't see the other side of this because I got my notes up. But Dragon, good to see you. And I still haven't been able to get a hold of the other Dragon for the $50 gift card. Speaking of which, if Busted Beak, if you were in chat, and Robert Clancy, if you two are in chat, your gift cards went out today. Dragon Slayer, I have got no email. I haven't seen them. I don't know if they just happen to pop in and win something. I don't know. I'm going to give it to the Christmas celebration that we're going to have. If you look down below, Thursday, December 23rd, which is the day before Christmas Eve, which is a Thursday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to do a Christmas and my 1-year anniversary on YouTube celebration. We're going to do some fun stuff then. I don't want to give too much away because I want people to show up because they want to show up versus they think they're going to win something. So hopefully I didn't give too much away there. But that being said, at least those two folks are out. I will have all the Christmas cards out. I got a few of them going out tomorrow, and then I have another batch going out Monday, and then the last batch going out Wednesday. Let me see here. Hey, what's up, Latina Prepper? Good to see you. All right. So we're going to go into the next section of the conversation that we're having here, or the conversation that I'm going over, the topic. What's up, Steve? Is planning. Because sure, you're a prepper, right? Is your wife a prepper? Are your kids preppers? Anybody in your household a prepper outside of yourself? That's always the question to ask, right? And the reason I say this is because you need to have, especially young children or children that help you with the other young children, depending on the way your family dynamics is set up, you kind of want to have a family meeting. I felt the cough coming on, so I wanted to drink a cup of coffee. Hey, Granny Fisher, how you doing? So you want to at least once a month, maybe every couple of months, or if if you're treading into hurricane season or winter's coming, you kind of want to have a family meeting on preparedness because you want to educate them on your guys' plan. Hey, if this, and this happens, this is what we need to do. These are where the supplies are at. This is what we have stockpiled. If I'm not here, this is what you do. If the house falls apart or burns down, this is where we meet. If you're at school and things happen, and so on and so forth. So you want to have a generalized plan that you kind of go over with your family every couple of months at least, because things are fluid. Sometimes things change. Let's say you've added to your preps. Let's say you got some new medical gear or whatever happens that you've done differently than you normally do. Maybe you added, you found some more information and you have an added emergency contact. You want to make sure that everybody in your household is informed by this so that everybody's on the same page. Because when chaos hits, that's when things go sideways because everybody's under stress. Things are happening very rapidly, and having that calm demeanor and be able to, hey, we have a plan, guys. Let's follow the plan. Like I said, you kind of want to review the different types of disasters that you may be facing. Let me see here. One cool thing is if you have older kids or husband, wife, uncles, aunts, grandparents, or whatever that may be, kind of give everybody a specific task to focus on. So like when things happen, you kind of say, okay, your security, you're manning the food, you're checking this. You kind of want to give everybody a task per se, you know what I mean? And like I said, worst case scenario, you always want to have locations pre-planned out if everybody is separated when the disaster strikes. Because let's say, it would be great for if whenever something happens, everybody's at home. Nobody's at work. Nobody's at school. Nobody's traveling. Sure, that would be in a perfect world. But we need to plan and have, okay, if you're here and there, this is where we're going to meet. If it's not home, where else would it be? Or if the home is inaccessible, let's say, for me, let's say if I lived right on the ocean and they evacuated the entire coastline because we're having a Cat 5 or Cat 4 hurricane, where would I fall back to? Does everybody know where to meet? Or do you guys kind of get where I'm going with that one? Because the easier that you have, if everybody knows what's going on and what to do and has a task, it's going to make everything easier. Let's say the kids can have an easier task. Say, just make sure that, hey, this is your go bag. kid A and kid B, make sure that you grab these two things and kind of give them a small little task, because the younger they are, the more scared they may be. So if their task, and you want to include your children in this because they'll feel a part of it. So they'll find importance and value in that. So, worst case scenario, you have an 8-year-old, and you're like, okay, well, your job is you're going to grab your bag, you're going to check on your little sister, or you're going to check in with your big brother or sister. You kind of get where I'm going with that. So having a plan is huge because it's going to make things that much more easier when things strike. Because can we ever plan a disaster in the aspect of, can we ever know when it's going to happen? Sure, we know that, let's say a storm front is approaching, but it might just blow over. Sure, the US dollar may collapse, but do we know when that's going to collapse? So on and so forth. We can always have a foresight in what we think may happen, but just expect the unexpected. Excuse me. Heroic Prepper says, hey man, what do you feel about the situation with China building the base off the Atlantic coast? It's a given. Everybody knows that the current administration, and not to veer off too much from what I'm talking about, everybody knows that the current administration is weak. We can talk about the 2-hour conversation with Corn Pop and what transpired on that 2-hour call, that he was going to be tough and rough, and he didn't even have his mic on. He didn't even hear the first part of Putin's thing. The guy's lost, okay? So it concerns me, but we're only in year 1, folks. We have 3 years of this. People say, well, what about if he gets this? Well, you still have that line of succession. If what's his name gets sick, dies, or whatever, we're still going to have to deal with these folks. Now, some people say, well, we get the primaries coming up. Well, the primaries, maybe we'll take back the House, the Senate, whatever happens. Who knows? We can only speculate and assume, but all in all, the idea is to prepare for anything and everything. Kind of like, let's really put this in perspective, okay? If Russia was to invade Ukraine, China was to take over Taiwan, and the U.S. goes into war because war is money. And I don't think it'd be a traditional type of war like we would expect. Now, a lot of people, you think they would be a nuclear war. I don't think, in my mind, that would be their first option. Now, unless they could see, because you figure if someone launches, someone else is going to launch, and then they're going to launch, and they're going to launch, and then we're going to be into basically the end of times at that point. Hellfire and brimstone. So that being said, I can't make a judgment call in the aspect of like, this is what's going to happen. They're going to do what they're going to do, and they may push the envelope. But our job here in the U.S. as citizens is to be prepared for anything. And that's why I'm kind of having a topic like this, because if it does go full, I guess full tilt, or what did they call it? The balloon goes up or whatnot. You need to be prepared. Sure. Like I said, again, being informed and educated of what's going on. Someone mentioned to me the K Club. I think Russia has they have shipping containers with missiles inside of them. And someone said, hey, Gray, off the coast of California, do you think all those container ships, do you think they have Russian troops in them? Do you think they have Chinese troops into them? Do you think they have this? I don't know. We won't know until that time presents itself. This is all speculative. So I can't focus too much of my worry on that, because if it happens, then I will set my plan into action. So as long as I know that what I got going here, to the best of my ability, and being prepared as the best as I can, that's all I can do. Like I said, I can stay informed about this stuff. We just don't know, to be honest with you. Yeah, really sick of that politicians. Yeah, I saw that, Dragon. I appreciate that, Scarzo. All right, so back on task here. And hopefully, nobody's taking that wrong, right? I was just trying to express myself on, yes, it's good to be aware of that and to understand what might happen. But as Citizen Gray here in Florida, as a person living in a small town or something like that, what could I do? What could I say? If they do that, I guess you would expect our government, our the U.S. forces and stuff like that to push back. Who knows? But look how we left Afghanistan, man. Look at the equipment left, and look how China is moving into there, and they're going to be sourcing that, basically the new Silk Road 2.0. So we're in a troubled situation. We're in a troubled times in the aspect of what's going around all around us. I mean, we look at what's going on in Australia. I just saw in Canada that they got to have their little thing in order to get groceries in certain places. You got a lot of bad stuff happening, and it's scary. And a lot of people are nervous, and I understand that. That makes sense. Some of us are lucky. Some of us are lucky to be in certain states where we have, like I said, governors, politicians that are actually trying to somewhat help us with the legislations and laws that are being passed. But at the end of the day, they're still politicians. We can hope that they're in our best interests, but where politics lies money, lies greed, lies power. So who knows? Who really knows the man behind the mask, if they're 100% for their constituents or not? Stay survived. What's going on? All right. I'm just looking at chat to make sure I didn't piss anybody off. I'm just trying to I don't know. I'm just trying to touch on all of it because there's so much going on. Every day we wake up and it feels like we're in a shift scenario because something keep on presenting itself. If it's not this, it's that. And then they try to misdirect us with, hey, guess what? Chris Cuomo's fired. Yay. And that's all on the news, while we're looking at labor shortages and food shortages, and things are going to be worse. And 2022 is right around the corner. And I just don't think it's going to get better. Prices are going up. Now, I just saw my gas prices drop 10 cents. So it was $3.29. Now it's $3.19. They're toying with my emotions. Is it going to go down? Is it going to start getting better? And I read this far left article about, it's because he released the reserves and stuff like that. And I was like, that's a joke, man. If you dig it, I love reading material that's biased, you know what I mean? And giving someone praise when it doesn't make sense. When you dig into the numbers and the logistics behind what these people say, you come to find out it's false. It's just misinformation. Thank Donna. All right, I got so far sidetracked off our topic. I do apologize. I can imagine, Kelly. Little Red Hen, that's a good point, Little Red Hen. A lot of people that have spent time being homeless have learned to survive in the streets and learn to survive because there's a lot. There's a guy that's homeless that I help out every once in a while. I guess I should pay attention to the topic, right, and focus on that. But this is an open forum, so I like to talk. But there's a lot of things I do behind the scenes, off camera. You know what I mean? Like come here in January. I'm gonna be fine tuning my schedule a little bit. And what I mean by that is I've been missing a lot on Mondays because I'm helping an older couple out that own a farm. I'm learning a lot of stuff from them, and I'm not having enough time to catch up to doing a video on Monday. And then also I spent roughly 3 hours trying to pull all my emails together and pull everybody's addresses together, print a list together, get the envelopes together and stuff like that. So sometimes I got to take what you want to call it, an office day to get some other stuff done. Then I have the ability to produce content. But I have a lot of responsibilities to you, the subscribers, because if I don't get these Christmas cards out that I've been ranting and raving on for 2 months, people are going to be mad at me. So I need to get these things done. And also I got, speaking of which, the Christmas ornaments, I've gotten, let me see, I got Northern Girl, JT, Yarn, Jan. I think those are the 4 or 5 mods that I got the addresses for to send them those Christmas ornaments that I want to send them. If you're a mod on the channel and you haven't sent me your address, please do so if you want one of those, a Christmas card and the GreyMan Christmas ornament thing. So I have one sitting there because I like to look at it. I don't know. We need prayers for prep for it. Scarzo 219, we can pray for Tasha. I pray for a lot of folks. And also Kate. I don't know if you guys know Mrs. Kate. She lost her husband. There's a lot of things. And what really sucks is a lot of this stuff happens around the holidays, which is really rough on folks. It's really rough. I never did ask for a Christmas card, but I sent you one. Oh, I appreciate that, JT. I appreciate that. I just I'm trying to maintain the channel, and there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm a one-man show, so it takes up a lot of time. But yes, send prayers for Tasha. You know what I mean? And Mrs. Kate and stuff like that. There's a lot of things happen that are really bad, and they had a really good channel too. Very lovely old couple. Thanks, Northern Girl Hobbies. I appreciate that. From Kate's Kitchen. Yeah, check that video out. It's very saddening. You know what I mean? Especially when we lose someone that we've been with for, a long time. When you wake up that following day and they're not next to you anymore, if you spent 30, 40, 50 years with that person, it can be very troublesome. It'll mess with your mind hard. Dr. D agreed. Seasonal depression. There's a lot of things that can happen. Shrek and his friends. I'm doing well. I'm way off topic, but I'm doing well. I see I lost a couple of people off this rant that I went into. I've lost 2 people now. I don't know. Maybe if I keep on talking about how many people I'm losing. Anyways, let me see. 2 confirmed actual factual. Hello. Hey, Tasha, how you doing? All right, so let me see here. All right, so I'm going to try to jump back into what we were talking about. Oh, man. So where was I? I was talking about identifying your hazards, planning for your family, and now the third part is prepare. All right, so first, in the preparation aspect of, you want to prepare yourself a disaster kit. And we're going to touch on a couple of things with the disaster kit here in a minute after we finish this. You want to locate some of the safest spots in your home. You want to determine the best evacuations routes for you and your family. What else? You want to know stuff like how to shut off your gas lines or specific utilities or breakers, depending on the scenario that you have in your house. You want to make a complete inventory of all your foods and stuff like that. Having your prepper inventory. Matter of fact, I'm gonna talk to Prepper Nerd. He's been wanting to do something with me for quite some time, and I'm gonna bring Prepper Nerd on and talk about his inventory system, because it's actually a pretty good system. I have my own thing kind of going on, but I've looked and watched his videos, and it's very thorough. I think it's pretty neat and whatnot. Another aspect of being prepared is you want to teach everybody in your house how to use a fire extinguisher, how to use certain medical supplies, how to take someone's temperature. Something as simple as taking a temperature, if anybody's diabetic, knowing where the medicine's at. Let me see. You want to post emergency contacts where everybody, Right in the Rain makes great products. Just in case you have if it floods or whatnot, you don't want, because if you have a piece of paper in your refrigerator, and it gets wet and all the numbers get blurred into each other, that's not going to work. If you have a dry erase board and someone happens to wipe across it, then you're screwed. So I think Right in the Rain is a very great option for you folks, as a piece of paper that won't go anywhere. Because you could also have it digitized on your phones and stuff like that. But what about if your phone gets lost or broken, and kind of get where I'm going with that? But you want to have your emergency contacts, friends, neighbors, other relatives, things like that. So preparing is huge. You want to be prepared. Your family needs to be prepared. So after you identify and you plan, then you want to prepare everything that you need to follow through with the planning and all the things that you've identified as possible issues in your area. All right, Dragon, truly appreciate that, brother. You didn't have to, brother. You're very supportive of the channel, but thanks so much for that massive super chat, brother. I truly appreciate that. It says, for GreyMan's family Christmas Chinese dinner, oh, day, a Christmas story, LOL. Right on, Dragon. Truly appreciate that, man. That means a lot, brother. That means a lot. That means a lot. All right, on to the fourth and final aspect of this thing. I don't know if I can't say I've come up with it. With this acronym, or I don't know if you want to call it an acronym, the IPPP. But the last part is to practice your plan, because you've identified something, you've identified your situation, you have put that plan together, and you've prepared for this plan. Now you need to practice everything above that. You want to put your plan into action before any disaster ever hits. And also you want to use the equipment that you have. You want to verify everything is in working order. You want to make sure that if you have puck lights in your house, if you have radios, flashlights, anything that you have in your preparedness kit, you want to make sure it's functioning, everything is working properly. So you need to practice with the gear that you have. So that is huge. You can't put a bag or preparedness kit. You can't put something together and then put it in a corner and forget about it. You can't put it in a closet and think it'll be there when I need it. You need to verify stuff. You need to make sure that if you have stuff in this bag that's perishable, that every once in a while you check on it. Because if you stick batteries in a if you stick batteries in some of your walkie-talkies or radios, batteries will eventually go bad and corrode your contacts, and that device will fail. Dale Cobb, truly appreciate that. Here's to 2023, right, Dale? I appreciate the super chat, brother. Truly appreciate your support. RG71, hello. Food Forest Permaculture, how you doing? What's up, East Tennessee Preparedness? I've seen a few other folks pop in here. Let me see, where am I at? And do some dry runs with your family. Maybe say, some people say every 3 months, some people say every 6 months, but at least every 6 months, do some dry runs. Or if you know, like, let's say I'm in Florida, I'm going to use that as a reference a lot. Let's say you're in Florida, hurricane season starts. Well, a couple of months prior to hurricane season, we're going to drill. We're going to run some drills to make sure that we're prepared. We're going to check our equipment. We're going to check our fire extinguishers. We're going to check our emergency lighting. We're going to check our flashlights, our stockpile of batteries, make sure everything is working and functioning properly. We're going to make sure that we have anything that we need to, if we ever get to the point where we have to leave our home due to flooding or some sort of catastrophic event, that we are ready and geared up to go. So practice your plan. Like I said, checking your supply kit. You might want to replace any stored water or stored food that's very out of date. Make sure whatever that you're using for your emergency food is either in rotation. And hopefully you guys get the general idea what I mean by that. It's just to, if you have food, water that's been stored for 10 years, it's been in the sun in a plastic bottle, that's probably not the best idea to consume that water. Even in the water that because I know plastic is a huge thing and we can go down that rabbit hole, but we're not going to tonight. I've gone enough tangents this evening. But with water, if I buy prepackaged water, I can't afford a case of Perrier that's in a glass bottle. So for emergency purposes, I will buy a couple of cases of water. But by the time that season ends, I will rotate through that water to make sure it doesn't sit inside that plastic, regardless if it says BPA and BPS free. They can put whatever they want on these bottles. Just so you know, they use types of plastics inside cans. I don't know if people know that, but I do these deep dives and research on certain things and the coatings that they use inside cans at this day and age versus the tin and all the different chemicals they use to make food now. Stuff that'll scare you, but maybe we'll save that for another time. And like I said, you want to update. Let's say you have emergency contacts that are not good anymore. You've changed phone numbers. You want to make sure that everybody has that information. So practice. At least if you have the time, every 3 months, but at least every 6 months. So twice a year, put your plan into action. Everything that you've gotten, like once you've identified, okay, we're preparing for tornadoes, floods, and this. All right, this is our plan, folks. All right, this is our preparedness kit. And this is what we have in it. And then you do some practicing with that. Let's jump over to my next kind of like a little bit of a bullet point here that I have for emergency supply kits. Canadian Limey, how you doing? Let me see. Gator 157. Man, I could go for some Gator right now. Love Gator. Do you guys enjoy live streams like this? I'm just curious. I don't want to put up a poll or not, but if you enjoyed educational live streams like this, can you put a 1 in chat? If not, just put 2, and at least so I know that the general consensus is that I'm following a different direction with some of my live streams, if that makes sense. Steve Spillman, better late than never. Oh, okay. Oh, I read that wrong. Sorry, Steve. What's up, Sue? Hey, Sherry. Hey, Annie, be okay. I got that right now. Annie, be okay. Anna, Babasia, Preston, Elaine, Haunted Fox, Baba Ellis, Voodoo Queen. What's up, John Jones? My dog eats jeans. Terry, Donna Wagner, Kathleen Elliott. All right, Mark. All right, awesome. Okay, because I just want to make sure I'm not barking up the wrong tree in the aspect of, because I know folks love news and love politics and love the stuff that scares people to death. But I think going over material like this is super important as well. No matter how prepared we are, it's good to have someone else's opinion and points of views. And maybe we get a bit of a refresher course on certain things that maybe we forget. Because sometimes I'll get emails after I do these live streams and like, hey, you know what? I'm glad you mentioned this in your live stream because I forgot and I checked on it and I need to replace some of these things that are in my my go bag or whatnot. Derek, I do watch that channel. I love live streams, get more info this way. And that's, Tasha, that was my goal is, I thought about that as well, is in my head, I was thinking, okay, some people, sure, it's great when I do a video and I read comments and interact with comments, but I figured live streams are also more interactive because when I'm saying certain things, if I get anything wrong or I spark a conversation inside chat, or if someone has a question and fields it my way and I happen to see it, it's just more interactive and we can kind of talk about things. Anna from MA, better late than never. At least I got to reuse that one. Youngin wants a snack. That's awesome. Meals are all ready to eat. I don't buy what we won't eat. Scarza, that's exactly smart. Get a lot from chat also. Exactly, Sherry. That's exactly my point. All right, so can rewatch and write down ideas. That's true, Annie B. Okay. I'm so glad that I got your name right now. Thanks for, if you guys email me, if I get your name wrong, email me and tell me how to pronounce it right. I'm getting better at going through all the emails. All right. So let's dive into real quick is emergency kits. And what I mean by emergency kits, it could be an EDC bag. It could be a get home bag. It could be a bug out bag, or the new one, Inch. It could be a I'm never coming home bag. Which is the last type of bag you want to have. I mean, you want to have it, but you know what I mean. It's the last thing that you want to be a worst case scenario. We don't have alligators here. Frontier Preppers, are you Billy? Are you missing out on the gator? Oh boy. All right. So where to start? That's what a lot of people ask me. Like, Grey, where do I start when I pull together an emergency kit? Well, one of the first things you need to do is identify who the kit is for. Is this kit for you? Is this kit for an older person? Is this kit for your child? Things like that. These are the questions before you go out and run out and get a bag and stuff it with a bunch of gear. You need to identify who this kit is for. What's up, Tia Maria? But you want to identify who this kit is for. And again, what emergencies you're preparing for, because everybody's kit is going to be a little bit different. Because depending on where you live at, like I don't need to pack, let's say a 0 below sleeping bag or a lot of winter clothing because it rarely ever gets cold in Florida. At least where I'm at, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure parts of Florida get cold enough. To me, it would have to get below freezing for me to actually be like, oh, it's actually cold out. And what I mean by that is it needs to get down to 0 degrees before I'm actually freaking out that Florida is going crazy. Because trust me, if it ever snowed down here, folks would be in chaos. It would be total chaos. Also, if you're building a kit for yourself and you're trying to sustain a small child, you want to consider how many people that you're building this kit for, or how many kits you're building. Also, do you have pets? Believe it or not, it's nice to have a small, like say a small mini backpack, or a small a small get home bag or bug out bag for your pets. If you're planning on taking your pets with you, foods, medications, paperwork, shot records, anything like that, toys, comfort stuff. I know it sounds crazy, but having a small little pack for your dog is key. And some dogs, depending on the size of your dog, they have packs that go on your dog. So the dog can carry his own weight, which is awesome. And again, so when it comes to building your kit is first, who's the kit for? and B, what kind of emergencies are you preparing for? That's going to outline at least the details of what you're going to be putting inside your kit. Now, me, I'm a little excessive. No one has to be like me, but this is the way I have my EDC bag, which is everywhere I go. I have my get home bag basically in my vehicle in case anything ever happens, if I'm stuck somewhere or separated from my family. And then I have my bug out bag, or AKA inch bag, which is a heavy sucker, which is the last thing I want to be hauling around. But most of the time, my weight, I'll tell you one thing. I wonder if someone's had to have done a video on weight distribution in your bug out bags, because the way you pack your bag is going to make life so much easier, because you want to have certain things and the way they weight and the way they weigh on your back. You know what I mean? Because just imagine you throw a bunch of canned goods in your backpack and then you put this backpack on and you're hiking 5 miles through the woods or marsh or sand or wherever that you'd be in, and you have a can digging into your back. That would suck. So learning how to proper distribute weight in your pack and what's important to the top, readily accessible. Let's say if you have a compass, if you have lights, fire starting, water, and some of the things that you won't need unless you're making camp, down towards the bottom and certain things like that. So having an organized bag as well is going to save you a lot of time. That's why I like the clamshell type bug out bags or get home bags, because instead of having a bag that opens up this much and you kind of dig through it, I like the ones that open up wide open and you can kind of lay things out and see where everything. Labeling is good. You can use duct tape, you can use Velcro, whatever you want to kind of label your bags so that, okay, in this pouch here, I have my fire starting. In this pouch here, I have my water filtration. In this pouch, I have, navigation, and have everything kind of labeled, because it'll make things easier. Unless you've practiced with this bag so much that you know exactly where everything is. But maybe someone else does it. Maybe you hurt yourself and you're with your 14-year-old son or daughter, and they need to open your bag and they need to find out something. Okay, here's my dad's emergency medical kit. He needs this. If it's labeled, it'll make things so much more easier. So imagine you open up a bag and you say, okay, it'll say tourniquet, but it's best to have a tourniquet on your persons, on your bag, and in your IFAC. So me, I'm huge into having tourniquets everywhere, but that's just me. Something I suggest, and also learning how to use a tourniquet, learning the different types of tourniquets and what they're used for, because there are several different iterations of tourniquets, be it a Cat 7, be it a SWAT-T. There's many different variations of tourniquets, and some of them have purposes outside of just, some work better for different situations. Some work better on children, some work better on adults, and so on and so forth. Right on, Frontier. Mrs. D and my pack are identical to the MOE. Right on. Has anyone rehydrated jerky and made a meal with it? Sherry Leach, I have not. 17 degrees, Yarn. That's cold. That is cold. All right. Where was I? All right. Where are we at? A couple key components in this bag is, okay, so this is a huge discussion amongst everyone, is water. Water is that first thing you need to survive. You can go without food for quite some time. Some people wait 30 days. It'll be extremely rough if you're not used to it. Imagine going a month without food, with no calories. If you were just foraging, just random stuff, and you're used to 2,500 calories and you're down to, let's say, 900 calories, no matter what, it's going to be tough if you know how to even forage and know what to look for. That's a whole different video. But water, one of your biggest canteens, folks, is you, the person. You drink, if you're about to go on a hike, drink as much water as you can. I don't say overhydrate yourself to the point where you get sick, but drink a lot of water. You are the biggest canteen. Now, outside of that, if a gallon of water, just think about how much a gallon of water was. And I know someone can probably drop it in chat. But because it's in the back of my head, but I don't feel like getting all mathematical with you guys. But I carry enough water for me for a day if I'm taking off. But the huge thing is water filtration. So number one thing is water and water filtration. At least, and this is my opinion, folks. Everybody may have it different and may think different than I do, but this is just my opinion. Thank you for that, Dragon. Truly appreciate that. Frontier, Hodgepodge, thank you all. Mike Styles, thank you guys so much. And I depend on you guys, folks. That's why I need you guys in chat when I'm here doing live streams. All right. Moving on to number two. Number two is going to be food. Now, think of the types of food that you're going to be putting in your bag. And what I mean by types of food is you of course, you want non-perishable type of foods. Maybe you want some trail mixes, some high energy protein bars. Like I like to carry the little things of packets of honey, peanut butter, things that are going to give you a lot of energy and keep you going and suffice. Some people don't like Mountain House, but whenever I'm on hikes for emergency food, I keep at least 3 days worth of food of Mountain House in my bag to suffice for my calorie intake. But number 2 is going to be food. Number 2 is going to be food. Food is huge. So you got water, you got food. And most people, I would say 95% of people will probably agree with me. Those are the 2 key components of your emergency preparedness kit. What's up, Thorhaven? Thanks, Thorhaven. Yeah, some people have no idea what kind of hat this is. And it is a knife hat. And you are right, it is a Boker. Let's move. And how long have we been on streaming? I'm getting lost here. How long have I been streaming for? Almost an hour. Okay. I'm getting that little rant or curveball got me sidetracked a little bit, but we're doing pretty good. Tylenol. Yes. And I'm getting there, Scarzo. Moving on to number 3. Number 3 is going to be communication and light. Comms, folks. Comms, and light. So you want to have some form of communication. Some people have the money to have long-range communication. People have the biofangs. People just have GMRS. People have FRS. There's a lot of different forms of communications, and we can be here all night. We can have a 2 or 3 hour live stream about communications, but having some form of communications on you to communicate with your family and anybody in your group, or if you're meeting other people, and make sure that everybody understands what channel you're communicating on. If it's a GMRS, everybody's on the same premise. You can be on channel 2, sub-channel 22. If that's how it works, make sure everybody's on the same page. Make sure you have batteries for that. If you have some sort of ways to do it, but communication is huge. And also have a small, lightweight crank radio or something to keep an eye out what's going on. Weather radio, FM, AM, the little shortwave radios. So communications is more of a broad thing because you want communications to communicate with other folks, but you also want communications an aspect of hearing what's going on in the world. What's up, Prepping for Life? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. How you doing? Still been watching, just not commenting much. With winter here, I'd be on more. Love the videos. I appreciate that, brother. Truly appreciate that. Happened to catch that out of the corner of my eye. What's up, Klingon? How you doing? Light. All right. Light is another thing. Having flashlights. Now, when I say flashlights, you want the small, compact, lightweight light, but also something that puts out a lot of lumens. Most of you folks probably know what lumens are, or candle power and whatnot. But having different forms of light. If you have a flashlight, great. But if you have your hands full, you want to have a headlamp. So like in my EDC bag, I have a flashlight, my primary, and my backup, which is my headlamp. Also, some of the best headlamps have multiple settings where you have like a very light, let's say 10 lumens, which is like moonlight. It has a red setting for nighttime usage and stuff like that, because you don't want to give away your positions and stuff like that. There's a lot of different things when it comes to light. But having several forms of light, if you have the small lanterns or puck lights, whatever you might happen to have in your bag, think about that. So communications and light, 2 other key components to your emergency survival kit. Moving on to number 4, Daily Prepper. I'm a fan of O-Light. I've been talking to Matt. Matt doesn't like O-Light. I love O-Light. I've had a lot of good luck with O-Light. I have like 3 or 4 of them. And I have some cheaper stuff too. And there's Through Night, O-Light, Surefire. There's a bunch of different light companies out there. Of course, American-made stuff is going to cost you an arm and a leg. And see, even some of the O-Light stuff can be expensive unless you catch it on sale. What's up, Pony Girl? Let's jump into first aid real quick. This is number 4. And this is not an order of what you should be in, but these are just ideas what you need to put in there, because first aid is just as important as water in the aspect of if something ever happens to you, you need to have some sort of first aid kit. But water, of course, and food are some of the top things you need to put on or put together in your bag. What's up, South Florida? So there's a couple different forms of first aid. Everybody's probably heard of an IFAC now, which is an individual first aid kit, or AKA trauma kit. This is for something if you have some sort of if you get shot by a firearm, if you get sliced, if you get badly wounded, if you're hemorrhaging, these are trauma kits. Having a really good trauma kit. And here's the thing: is some folks will go on. I've been meaning to do this review for quite some time, but some folks will go on Amazon and pay $35 for a trauma kit. I'm telling you, it's going to bite you in the what. Is your life worth $35? So when you have the money to purchase a IFAC or individual first aid kit, a trauma kit, make sure that you ask someone who knows a little bit about the medical field. If you have a doctor, a medic, an EMT, paramedic, anybody that you may know, talk to them first. You can build your own technically and save a few bucks in buying a pre-built kit. Bear Independent has a phenomenal kit. I give him credit. He put something great together, but it's not cheap, but it's good quality stuff. Is the last thing you want to do is buy something on Amazon for 40 bucks and you pull out and you got this generic cat tourniquet and you go to tighten it down and it bends and breaks on you and it doesn't stop the flow of blood and then you bleed out in just a few minutes. So when it comes to life-saving equipment, don't cheap out on it. The last thing you want to do is cheap on that. The second part of your first aid kit is having I call it an ouch pouch. I actually have a little thing that says ouch pouch, but my ouch pouch contains Band-Aids, ointments, creams, Tylenols, over-the-counter medications, Benadryls, sleep aids, nausea medication, all the little odds and ends, all the different types of Band-Aids, some gauze, dressings, things for bites and stings, snake tick kits, snake and tick kits, all that kind of stuff like that. That's my secondary. That is my ouch pouch. That is the boo-boo bag per se. Excuse me. But so you have two facets to it. You have a trauma kit and you have your boo-boo kit. Agreed, Thorhaven, 100%. And I know you try to save money and money can be tight, especially around the holidays. But if you get an income tax check, use some of that money and buy yourself a good first aid kit. There's some good ones out there, or build your own. North American Rescue, to me, has some of the best tourniquets in the civilian aspect of the market. Top notch. And no, they're not paying me to say that. I wish. That'd be cool if I was part of that organization, but I'm not. If not, go to Bear Independent, his Refuge Medical. He has a lot of different gear there as well. Look around, talk to people, get educated, get informed of what some of the best stuff to buy. A lot of people in my kits, I have nasopharyngeal airways. I have small surgical kits, but I am trained with the gear that I have for my first aid. Some of you folks may not be. That's why I would suggest, if you can, take a Stop the Bleed class, take a CPR class, take some intro to, first aid classes. Things like that will benefit you long-term. And then if not, if you have a MAG or a mutual assistant group, identify the person who is familiar with some of that stuff. But everybody should have some sort of first aid training. All right, moving on to number 5. What's up, Farmer Son? How you doing? Moving on to number 5, shelter and clothing. 2 other key components. Shelter can be something as simple as a tarp. Some people buy tents. Tents is another story. You don't want to buy a cheap tent that's you think that you're going to throw one of these little quick dome tents that you get at Walmart for $19.99, and you think it's going to be waterproof. You think it's going to be wind resistant. You think it's going to be something that's going to last you more than a few times. There's a lot of things that you shouldn't skimp on. But shelter is huge. Unless you know how to build a shelter. And that's why I always tell people, if you get an opportunity to go out in the wilderness, try doing some primitive skills like building shelters, using the environment to build a shelter, learning the environment, what works best in your environment to build shelters with. Here we have palm fronds, we have pine needles. There's things that we can use to substitute for other things if I don't have everything with me that I need. But I always have a strong, solid tarp with me for shelter building. I usually run a hammock instead of a tent. It's a lot more lightweight, and it's just easy to throw in my pack. I have one in my car. I have one in my get-home bag. I'm one of those people that have redundancies. I'm sitting here stuttering now, but I like to have redundancies in case something fails. Who do you recommend for first aid training? That's a hard question, Daily Prepper. And the reason I say that is because it depends on where you're located at. Here, in my area, matter of fact, with the JCS, they're going to be putting together firearms training and first aid training here soon in the first of the year, if I recall our conversation today. So people that are in my area, well, let's say like JT or T Prada or Gene W or Jeff Riffle and some of those folks that are in my area, I will be able to say, hey, this is who you would go for first aid training. Now, if you can, talk to your local fire departments, your local colleges, local Red Cross Red Cross centers, and see if they can direct you to who may have some medical or first aid training in your area. Sometimes it's free. Sometimes there's a small fee associated with it. But check around. That's what I could suggest, brother. He says redundancy, maybe even right, Creative. I'm just giving you credit, Creative. Texas Mama, I have no idea. It can be tough. YouTube is really mean when it comes to notifications. But every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and every Thursday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Grey usually goes 99.9% of the goes live most of the time. So always check at 7 p.m. on Tuesdays Eastern Standard Time and 10:30 p.m. on Thursdays. Usually I'm on unless something crazy happens. Part of the number 5 is clothing. You want to have proper clothing for your environment. Before, I guess I should have mentioned the types of tents. Tents is just another video in itself. There's so many different aspects of tents, a 3-season tent versus a 4-season tent, and all the different types of tents and the materials made with tents. But like I said, I use a hammock just because of the environment that I'm in. Now, let's kind of move into clothing. Proper footwear, proper socks. I use 100% cotton. Some people use blends. I like cotton just because it's the way it works with your body and wicking away moisture. Wool socks. Even in Florida, I have wool socks. I know it sounds crazy, but I have layers. What is it called? I use Under Armour socks and then I pull my wool socks over it. There's a reason for that and the way that works. I've done a video on foot care before. I think I've touched on that and some of the best socks to buy. But don't forget to have spare clothing in there, because if you get poured down rain and then you don't have a poncho, or your poncho, something happened and you got soaking wet, you want to be able to dry those clothes and have a second pair of clothes to move into. But the biggest thing is if you're on foot, you need to have proper proper shoes for one, or boots, and don't put these boots to the side and don't break them in. You need to break in these boots. Don't ever try to take a brand new pair of boots and walk 10 miles in it. You're going to be in pain if you even make it that far. Now, that being said, is having changes of socks. You saw me in the prepping preacher the other day, where I pulled out the socks on an EDC bag. I got socks and clothes, and even in my car, I have multiple changes of clothing and also different types of shoes, depending on where I break down at. If I don't have a way to get to somewhere and I got to walk, I probably don't want to wear the boots that I wear normally on a daily basis. I might want to put on some different types of tennis shoes, or, cross trainers or something like that. I want to be as comfortable as possible if I'm going to have to walk 5, 10, 15, 20 miles. So having all that kind of know-how and understanding of what kind of clothing is best for your environment and the situation that you're going to be dealing with. Thank you, Dragon, for that. Exactly. And that's what, like I said, everything I'm talking about can go into a subtopic and go into an hour-long conversation, but I don't have that much time. I mean, I do, but I can make videos about it. And I have made some great content on some of these topics, but this is kind of what I'm going over tonight. Exactly, CR. Dry clothes keep you warmer than wet ones. 100%. Hypothermia is real. Even in Florida, hypothermia can get you. All right, moving on to number 6 is comfort and cleanliness. A lot of people will forget about hygiene. A lot of people forget about hygiene, folks. Hygiene is hygiene is very, very important. Because if you get a cut, if you get really dirty and you start to fester bacteria, fungi, or anything on your body, it's going to turn into something that's going to get worse over time, and it's going to put you out. So I'm trying to think of here. Also, if it makes it any easier, I've told people to put paper plates and stuff if they don't have like a canteen kit or something like that. Because worst case scenario, you have some lightweight paper in there and you're using that to eat on that has a wax coating. You can always throw it in the fire if you have many of them. I'm just trying to think of hygiene and cleanliness, toothpaste, deodorant, a way to clean yourself, moist towelettes, baby wipes, things like that. You want to keep yourself clean. If you're worried about going in, like here in Florida, you probably don't want to walk up to a pond or some, open source of water here locally and just jump in, because you never know what might be lurking under the water. It could be water moccasins. It could be gators. Who knows? So you might want to just take the risk and use a moist towelette and clean yourself down. You can use charcoal. And some people are going to probably say, no, you can't, but yes, you can. You can use wood ash if you had to, and clean your teeth if you want to, but charcoal, I mean, you have to understand activated charcoal and stuff like that are very similar as a whole process. And I'm not going to get into whole talking about activated charcoal versus charcoal and whatnot. Right on, Northern Girl. Yes, Dragon. Ha ha ha. Yes, I do recommend multiple spoons. Dragon, man, Thursday night, I'm going to show you this little thing that I got. Just because Dragon said that on Thursday night, I'm going to show you this little piece of gear that I got as a backup spoon. It's a backup everything: spoon, fork, knife, corkscrew. It's everything. And the way it comes apart and the way, I'm very happy with it. But yes, you want to have redundancies with anything. Don't be like Grey and have to be out in the woods, cook something up in the middle of a video, and then have to make a spoon because you forget your spoon. Minutemen 69, exactly. Yeah, powder for chafing. Good point, Montana Sky. Thanks for throwing that in there. Baking soda. Female hygiene is huge. I've done videos specifically geared towards women preppers, because sometimes they're left out. They're left out of some of the topics and discussions that we have, and I like to keep them included because they're just as important. We have wives and daughters, and they need to stuff like, just imagine. I've done some research on feminine products and stuff like that, because if things go sideways, what could you reuse? What could you have? And also some of the books that I've read have went into different things of stuff like that. I don't want to get too deep into that, but you guys get what I'm saying. But don't forget, feminine hygiene products. There's so much things in there. Van City Prepper, thank you so much. I will Velasquez, dry shampoo is a good one as well. Moss pads. My first video was with baking soda. See, you guys are awesome. See, you guys, at least we're all on the same page. And when people come across this, yes, Christopher Alexander, you can make your own charcoal. Let me see here. Montana Sky, I love it. Yes. Ask your wife, even your daughter, what they prefer to have. And that's why I'm saying when you prepare these packs, everybody's different. Your packs can probably be different from your wife's pack, your son's pack, your daughter's pack, your grandpa, your grandma. Everybody's pack's going to be a little bit different with a little bit different gear. There's going to be a lot of similarities, but there's also going to be some differences. Right. Thank you, Lori D. Yes. And that's what I'm saying, Lori. Oh, thank you for that. Little Red Hen, yes, baking soda does work on. And being that Little Red Hen said that baking soda works great on poison ivy and bee stings, I love things that have a faceted purpose. And what I mean by something that you can use just for more than just one thing. Right, Northern Girl, that would be hilarious. Get a go girl. Thanks, Donna. I've seen those. Those are pretty hilarious. Wet tobacco. South Florida DCL, some people will tell you no, and some people will tell you yes on that topic. I'm not going to jump into it now, but depending on who you ask, they have different perspectives on that. Yeah, we'll have to see what we can do, Northern Girl. Folks might like that. I agreed, Little Red Hen. All right, let's move into, and number 7 is pretty much everything else. And what I mean by everything else, it could be your knives, your multi-tools, hammers, screwdrivers, wrenches, axes, chainsaws, silky saws, collapsible shovels, all the other gear that you would have. You know what I mean? This encompasses a lot of different things. Also, one thing I do suggest, folks, is taking some small bills. If you have it, you can do $100 in small bills, some 1s, 5s, and 10s. Or if you want to do $50 or even $20, and stash that somewhere in your EDC, your get home bag, or wherever that you might do, or in your car, wherever you want to, that you think that you may be, but in a bag that's that you can take with you is more important, because you never know when things go sideways, and if cash is still around, people are going to still find value in that money for that time frame. Let's say you're in a small town that doesn't accept card or credit, or you're in a town of 200 people. You're driving through and you break down, and they say, sorry, city slicker, we don't take cards here. We take cash or silver possibly, but cash. So having a small amount of cash in your bug out bag or your get home bag is also a smart idea. And just kind of put it there and forget about it, unless you get into a really, really bad situation and you need that money. But it's just something that you want to think about, because if you have to get gas, and because let's say you're evacuated without a moment's notice and you forget your wallet at home, but you have, money in your bug out bag and some small bills, you can use that money versus being without. And like I said, without power, you can't use your ATM. You can't use your credit cards. You can't use your smartphones or all the people that with the little gadgets on their hand and touch their thing. So have a sewing kit. We can go deep into that now with all kinds of different things. But, sewing kit, saws, knives, tools, ammunitions, all the different gear, all the other stuff that would go in that bag. Now, again, that differs for every person. So, but that's the gist of it. That's the gist of the conversation I wanted to have tonight. I agree, Daily Prepper. I do a little bit more just because I have the capability to do so. What's up, D14? That's a good idea, a little bit, Hen. I never thought about that. I appreciate that, No Whining. So I hope everybody got a little bit of value out of this live stream this evening. Like I said, it might have been material that you're already aware of. And if not, might be a refresher for some folks. Or if you're new to the channel, maybe you learned something this evening. You picked up some great tips. Share it with your friends. You can always watch the replay. The replay is usually up shortly after the live stream ends, and you can use it for whatever purposes and whatnot. To go back on and pause and take some notes if you feel that you need to do so. Christopher Alexander, that is a good idea. I'm a big proponent of books. I'm a big Awilda Velasquez, thank you. If I hopefully I pronounced your name right. Velasquez, thank you. Thank you for that. Stream was awesome. Many thanks for your time. Dale Cobb, I appreciate that. Sidetracks as well. Sometimes, folks, I do apologize. I'll get on these little sidetracks and we'll go off on a different tangent than moving away from the actual specific topic that we're talking about. But it happens. It happens. Stack it to the rafters. Exactly. Second Amendment. We'll definitely be checking out the replay. I appreciate that. Happy to see you. I had no idea that there is it. Well, I don't know. It is, what is it? Tuesday. There's probably a few streams. I know what time is it? Yeah, it's almost that time. I know some folks will be streaming right about now. Happy to see you. Yes, I've gotten some good books at Ollie's and I've shared them with the community before too. Thank you, Primo. I appreciate that. But other than that, folks, that about wraps up the live stream. If you haven't done it yet, so please hit the thumbs up. I truly appreciate that. That's the best way to support the channel is watching the content, hitting the thumbs up, dropping a comment, stuff like that. I truly appreciate that. As Yarn Prepper likes to say, watch the commercials. That benefits us for the AdSense. I know people hate to watch them, but yeah, it is what it is, man. Ostlander, that is correct. I think he goes live at 8, or is it really that late already? Wow. But yeah, if you guys get a chance, there's a lot of good streams starting tonight. I buy 99-cent readers with barter. But all in all, I don't want to take up too much more of your time and ramble on about stuff. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other channels going live tonight with some good information. I will see. I know I got a video coming out tomorrow. I forget which one I'm dropping tomorrow because I record things on the fly. But thank you all for being here. Truly appreciate every single one of you folks. Thank you so much for watching the live stream with me and interacting in the chat. Mods, you guys are phenomenal folks. Everybody with the Christmas cards, I'll have those out here over the next few days. I got them going in waves as I'm signing these and sending them out, everything else like that. Other than that, if you have any questions, feel free to email me at any point, anytime. If you're part of the Discord, reach out to me there. All my information is down below in the description on every single video, P.O Box, emails, other forms of social media. Check me out and have check out some of the other content on the channel. Now I'm just rambling. So good night, everybody. Have a great night. Take care. God bless and stay safe.